Hello, my name is Melanie Armstrong and I work in the Education Data Division at the Department for Education. I'm here to talk to you about the importance of the post-16 data, which will be collected as part of the autumn school census. This is one of a series of videos related to the school census and should be watched in conjunction with the others. This slide lists the topic areas I'll be covering in the presentation. Post-16 information is collected via the school census from secondary or through and alternative provision schools that have a sixth form. It is used to calculate post-16 funding allocations, performance measures, retention rates, and to assist Ofsted with success rate reviews. This slide lists the key data items collected via the census, which are required to meet these requirements. The learning aims recorded on the census should provide a full history for an academic year and not just a snapshot of the position on census day. This slide shows the criteria for students for whom we expect post-16 learning aims to be returned. Every course of study leading to any level of qualification that is funded for schools in England is allocated a qualification number and a subject classification code. The qualification number specifies the qualification offered and subject classification code identifies the subject covered. It is essential that the correct qualification number is returned in the school census. A comprehensive list of qualification numbers are available via the QWS website. This site should be checked regularly to ensure schools have the latest version downloaded onto their MIS. Care should be taken that schools do not assign a qualification number where the approval end date has passed for newly started courses, unless they were retaking the course. In such cases, the final assessment or examination must be taken before the certification end date. This is particularly important for students undertaking Maths and English courses to comply with the condition of funding. If a student is recorded as taking a qualification which is out of date, this will not count, as the student will show as not complying with the condition of funding. Recording incorrect or out-of-date qualifications can negatively affect your funding. It is vital that schools record the start, planned and actual end dates correctly, as this will determine whether the student's study programme period qualifies for funding purposes and will also identify the cohort students in the calculation of performance measures. Once the qualifying period has passed, the planned end date must not change. The actual end date is the date the student has completed the learning activities, including assessments and examinations, or the date they withdrew or transferred. The learning aim status reflects the current status of the learning aim. This slide shows the 4 options available. The difference between a transfer and a withdrawal is especially important for performance purposes, as a transfer is not taken into account when calculating qualification success rates, but a withdrawal is. A withdrawal is treated as if the student has stopped studying for that qualification and may count negatively in both success and retention calculations. A learning aim withdrawal reason should be recorded on the census if the student has withdrawn from the learning activities leading to the qualification following the 6-week qualifying period. The reason which most closely matches the reason for the student leaving the course is selected from the list of options. If more than one reason applies, the one which is considered to be the main driver for the withdrawal is selected. Unless the student has withdrawn from the learning aim prior to census day, the learning aim withdrawal reason is left blank. The department monitors non-completion of courses to calculate the completion and attainment accountability measure for text levels and Level 2 vocational courses using this data. Students withdrawn from these courses to take up apprenticeship, traineeship or support internship placements are excluded from the measure. Schools need to identify and record the substantive core learning aim for those students undertaking an ESFA-funded vocational or mixed study programme. Where the student is following an academic programme, a core aim must not be recorded on the census. If an academic programme is flagged as a core aim in the census, the student may not be counted as retained. For vocational programmes, the core aim is key in determining the programme cost weighting a student receives and whether the count is retained for funding purposes. Missing or incorrect core aims are likely to have a negative impact on funding. The planned hours returned on the census are split into 2 categories, are recorded as qualification hours for planned learning hours and non-qualification hours for planned employability, enrichment and pastoral hours. Qualification hours are the time in a study programme that is spent working towards the achievement of a qualification that is approved for teaching of 16 to 19-year-olds under Section 96 of the Learning and Skills Act 2000. Non-qualification hours are time that does not count towards the qualification. Include in this field all planned, timetabled hours included in the study programme that are not included in the qualification hours. The combination of both qualification hours and non-qualification hours must reflect the total planned hours for the academic year. If the student is on a study programme which spans more than 1 year, then these fields must be amended at the start of each year with only the planned hours recorded for each separate year of data. Retakes and resits are not normally funded, and therefore it's important that the delivery hours are not included in the planned hours. However, where there are exceptional circumstances outside the control of the student or the school, such as a period of long-term sickness, then a retake delivery hours for individual students may be included in the planned hours field. Where a student has not yet achieved at least a grade 4 or C in English and/or maths, retakes of these subjects can be included for funding. Therefore, it's important that the delivery hours are included in the planned hours field. In the majority of cases, we expect planned hours to remain static once the qualifying period is passed, but there are circumstances where they can change. For example, a student completing a traineeship and progressing to a study programme in the same year, or a student returning in year to a second study programme. Further details can be found in the Rates and Formula Guidance on gov.uk website. The teaching of approved English and Maths qualification is a condition of funding for students undertaking study programmes who do not hold 9 to 4 or A* C grade in these subjects and are studying for 150 hours or more in the academic year. Students on study programmes of less than 150 hours are not required to study Maths and English qualification. However, to facilitate their learning, some Maths and English content should be included in their courses where appropriate. The list of qualifications that meet the condition of funding will be maintained throughout the academic year on the Learning Aim Reference Service, also known as LARS. For further details regarding the condition of funding, please refer to the condition of funding fact sheet and the School Census 16 to 19 interactive tool on gov.uk website. Schools must return whether the student has achieved GCSE 9 to 4 or A* to C or equivalent qualifications or not. This slide shows the 3 options to choose from. This data is used to determine whether a pupil generates Block 2 funding as part of the disadvantage element of the 16 to 19 funding formula. There are a small number of students who are not able to take a GCSE or a stepping stone qualification, for example those with multiple and complex needs. These students can be exempt from studying qualifications. Students who have studied in a country that does not provide GCSEs are also potentially exempt from the condition of funding, where the overseas qualification they hold are equivalent to the GCSE grade 4 or C. On the school census, schools must record in the exemption field if the student has a learning disability which prevents them from studying the qualification. This will be recorded as code L. The student has a recognised overseas equivalent qualification. This will be recorded as code O. The student has met the GCSE condition of funding as they hold an approved equivalent UK qualification. This will be recorded as code U. And finally, if the student does not have an exemption, this will be recorded as code N. Learners do not need to enter for an AS level in order to pursue a subject to A level. Where a learner is studying towards an A level and is not intending to sit the AS level, the school should record the A level in the first year, with the learning aim planned end date reflecting the planned 2-year duration. Where a learner is planning to enter for the AS level as well as for the A level, the student should record the AS level in the first year with the learning aim planned end date reflecting the planned 1-year length of course, and record the A level in the following academic year reflecting the planned 1-year duration. Where a learner is only planning to complete the AS level, the school should record the A level as normal. Should the learner decide to go on to do the A level as well, the A level should be recorded in the following academic year, as in the above case. In all cases, providers should accurately record the learning aim that a student is working towards, either an AS or an A-level qualification. Where a learner changes the AS or A-level learning aim that they're working towards or withdraws from the course, this should be recorded in the usual way on the school census. No funding adjustments are required as the planned hours for the year determine funding levels. A traineeship is a discrete study programme with specific learning aims, which are required in order to qualify as a traineeship, normally work experience and work preparation, alongside maths and English if required. It should be noted, whilst all traineeships can have these aims, not all occurrences of these will be a traineeship. A pupil could be participating in work preparation or work experience as part of a non-traineeship study programme, and there will be numerous students studying English and maths who are not on a traineeship. The traineeship indicator will bring the data collected for post-16 students from schools in line with that already collected from colleges via the individual learner record. It will be used to inform participation levels and allow the department to understand and monitor what is being delivered to young people as part of traineeships. Full details regarding traineeships can be found on gov.uk website. The subcontracting partner UKPRN is recorded for all learning aims where learning is subcontracted. The UK provider registration number is recorded against the learning aims that are subcontracted to the partner organisation. Subcontracting is defined as provision delivered away from the main school sites by a third-party organisation, with whom the ESFA-funded school has made a contractual arrangement to deliver education provision that will be paid for with the ESFA funding. A school that is part of a consortium is not considered to be subcontracting with the other schools in the consortium. Post-16 funding allocations are based on census data from individual schools, so returning accurate data is a key factor in ensuring that you receive the accurate funding allocation. To assist schools in quality assuring their data and making more accurate census returns, the department has developed post-16 funding reports in Collect. The reports are based on data submitted in your autumn census and are provided to aid you in data sense checking, validation and quality assurance. Please note the categories and values shown in the reports are indicative and will not necessarily directly match those in your 16 to 19 allocation. Guidance regarding these reports can be found on the school census page on gov.uk website. The School Census Post-16 interactive tool is designed to help schools and academies understand how school census data is used to calculate post-16 funding and explain common errors and how they impact on the level of funding. We would strongly encourage schools to use this tool before they start building up their autumn census data and before the submission deadline. The tool can be found on gov.uk website. This slide provides links which you may require before and during the collection. More information about how to submit your census data to us, including details about what data is collected for each termly census, can be found on the school census page. Please take some time to read these documents as they help you to fulfil your statutory requirements and successfully complete an accurate census return. In addition to the online documents, we also provide a data collection forum. The purpose of the forum is to provide a facility to allow customers to exchange ideas and good practice relating to specific data collections and related EDD systems. To gain access to this forum, please complete a service request form. The Data Collection Help Desk issues regular email bulletins before and during the data collection period. These bulletins provide important messages to help schools make a successful school census return, and so please ensure you read the information carefully. I do hope you found this presentation helpful. Thank you.